What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Turbo Noob here. We are back once again with the Turbo Hayabusa. I told you guys after this thing would be finished, we'd be featuring it in many videos because your sweet Papa Yam needs a positive ROI on this machine. Please click the links down below and check out everything we got going on. Today, we thought it would be fun to do an honest-to-God empirical analysis of just how fast this motorcycle is. Josh, we have talked a lot about how fast it feels. I think you definitely felt the speed a little bit. As you guys probably saw this last weekend's video, Josh got a little crazy with the Turbo Hayabusa. But you know, all in Mexico, may or may not have been you, speedo blurred, all that good stuff. So we saw the bike feels fast, but today we're trying to find out how fast it is, right?
Exactly. How do we quantify this amount of speed?
Yes.
And we put it up against something that's ridiculously fast and widely abundant.
Yes. So many of you are probably familiar with something like this Aprilia 210 V4. You've probably seen or had friends who have bikes like this, 170-ish horsepower naked bike. It feels like the fastest thing in the world. This is actually our giveaway Aprilia 210 that we got from Eurocycle. So hit the link down below and check out that dealership and check out how you can get entered to win this motorcycle. But it will not be winning today because this bike is so much faster. And we thought it'd be fun today to show an empirical analysis of how much faster this bike is. We're gonna take you guys over to Spec Sheet Warrior Land and look over all the numbers. We're gonna get these bikes out on the road, maybe do some roll racing in Mexico, and then we're gonna wrap up our thoughts and really see how much faster it is. Josh, are you prepared for today?
Nope. Pretty nervous.
You ate your Wheaties, right?
Ate the Wheaties. I'm ready to go. Yeah,
right.
I've got the go juice, so let's do it.
Let's get into it. All right, guys, it's Spec Sheet Warrior time. I know you guys love doing this in the comment section. We're doing it in a video today. We're looking at different kinds of bikes. We're starting from the most wretched of wretched Rebel 250s and then going all the way down to a Turbo Busa in terms of power output. We've got measured wheel horsepower. We're doing that because we have a measured wheel horsepower from our Turbo Hayabusa, and so we figured to make it fair, we'd do that for all these bikes too. We have wet weight, top speed, horsepower per pound ratio, and then a percentage difference to the Turbo Hayabusa, meaning how much more power are they down versus the Turbo Hayabusa in terms of power to weight, keeping it scientific here. So starting off, a Rebel 250, one of the most wretched, slow little motorcycles you could possibly get other than a Honda Grom, makes 16 horsepower at the wheel, weighs 320 pounds, top speed of about 85 miles an hour, pretty darn slow, horsepower per pound ratio of 0.5, meaning you need 880% more power as a ratio to get a Turbo Hayabusa. Not looking good. MT-07, great starter bike, good intermediate bike as well, really wheelie happy machine, makes 67 measured wheel horsepower, 400 pounds, 133 miles per hour top speed, though you wouldn't really want to do that on that bike, trust me, I know from experience. Horsepower per pound ratio of 0.17, meaning 188% slower than a Turbo Hayabusa. You would need 188% more power as a ratio to get to the Turbo. Do you see how insane this is? That is from an MT-07, okay? It's gonna get crazier. ZX6 over here. This one's gonna be controversial. Y'all already know. 120 measured wheel horsepower. I know your ZX6 does 180 million horsepower at the wheel and it goes 186 miles an hour. In the real world, they're about 120 horsepower at the wheel. 415 pounds wet and ready to ride. 164 mile per hour top speed with the power to weight ratio of 0.29, meaning it's 68% down from the Turbo Hayabusa as a power to weight ratio. The Aprilia 210 we're featuring today makes 156 measured wheel horsepower, weighs 460 pounds, which is a little heavy for a naked bike in my opinion. Top speed of 167 miles per hour, meaning it's a naked bike. You're not gonna be able to get a bunch of top speed out of it, right? But it does accelerate to that 167 miles per hour pretty fast. Again, ask me how I know. 0.34 horsepower per pound ratio. It's 44% down from the Turbo Hayabusa in terms of the ratio here. The Honda Fireblade. Okay, this is one of the most king dick motorcycles out there. It makes literally measured 200 wheel horsepower in the European tune, weighs 443 pounds ready to ride. It has a restricted 185 mile per hour top speed, but that bike will do well over 200 miles per hour if you let it breathe and eat. It has a power to weight ratio of 0.45 horsepower per pound, meaning it's 8% slower than a Hayabusa. Now here's where things starts to get a little bit crazy, right? To get faster and faster, you need more and more power, and it starts getting harder and harder. So our Turbo Hayabusa makes 270 wheel horsepower measured, It is fat and heavy at 550 pounds, which kind of sucks. Because it has no electronics and the ECU is flash, it actually can do 235 miles per hour if you are brave enough. We have maxed out the speedo once on it, and we've never GPS verified any of the speeds, so it's plenty fast. It has a horsepower per pound ratio of 0.49, and I actually did the horsepower per kilogram ratio on this, and it actually has a 1.09 horsepower to kilogram ratio, meaning it makes more horsepower than it weighs in a kilogram sense. That's crazy. Meaning it is literally the fastest motorcycle we have ever featured or had here at Yami Noob. The Fireblade is a very close second, as I told you guys in many other videos, but then as you start going down the order here, you can see it's an exponential curve to get to be how fast that the Turbo Hayabusa is. Now, spec sheet warrior stuff is all good and well. We need to see out in the real world how the Turbo Busa compares against something like the Aprilia Tuono.
Folks, we're out here on the road now, Turbo Hayabusa and Tuono. We're trying to determine empirically how much faster the Turbo Hayabusa is than the Tuono, because it is faster. We know it is. It's going to be faster. And I'm actually going to speed up a little bit so I get around this guy.
Good Lord, this thing tried to pull my arms off.
So that's something I wanted to mention is the V4 Tuono there. You know, it's a monstrously fast bike. The seat of the pants feeling is immense, right? Like, it still feels freaking fast.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. Especially with the quick shifter between gears, it just smacks you and you just keep flying forward. Yeah, it's crazy how fast this thing is.
And yet somehow this bike is going to be even faster, and I'm really curious to see by how much.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Well, we're out here in Mexico trying to find a little spot for us to do this poll, and it's proven to be a little more difficult than we thought, but we'll keep you folks posted once we're able to.
Yeah, this has an advantage because I just wicked that open in second and felt the traction control, and
yeah,
I mean, you don't even have to be nearly as careful as you do on that bike.
Yeah, on this bike you have to really roll into it. I know you're gonna get me from the jump, but I'm gonna catch you. That's what's gonna happen.
I need to get out of touring mode though, or else I'll be roasted forever. Plus I felt it just now cut my power because the wheel was about to lift, and it was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, so. You're touring, you can't do a wheelie. Yeah, every video of a Turbo Hayabusa I've seen online is like, they never get them from the jump, and then they just walk them no matter how fast they go.
All right, go on 3.
Yep. Woo, had to shut it down. I was in the wrong gear. I think I was in 4th.
Oh, I see. You turned it and it didn't go.
Yeah, I got on the gas and I was like, where's boost? And I'm like, oh, there it is. And then I was like, ah, he's gone.
God, this Tuono is fast.
That just goes to show you, man, the boost is such like a top speed monster. That's really what it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you tried it in 2nd gear, it's unusable.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. You're just, I mean, there's no point in using it because you need so much.
You need so much room. You need so much room. You need to modulate 2nd. It's crazy.
Yeah, without computers monitoring your traction, it's like, what am I going to do with my wrist with that much power?
Yeah. And that's what I love to see, where it's like, you know, some bikes are like real world fast and other bikes are like, you know, oh, it's like fast, you know, like theoretically. Like, yeah, theoretically this is stupid fast, but
yeah,
in the right conditions, in the right environment, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I think in the real world, the Tuono is probably about as fast as you could ever really need or want, because you can use all of it, basically.
Yep, and it's smart enough to help you use it all, and yeah, it's all about conditions.
Yeah.
It's like when I went to the drag strip with the sons, you know, on the SV.
Oh man, you were whooping up on everybody.
Heck yeah, I was taking down bikes twice the size of the SV, just because they need a little bit of time to go that fast. So in an 8th mile, which is pretty real world.
Yeah. And it's, you know, we're on a nice open highway too, and it's hard to even get up to those speeds. You need like a landing strip. You need like an airplane takeoff runway, you know?
Yep. And nobody around, and everybody to like, you know, not get in your way. I mean, you need everything to work.
Yeah.
All right, folks, wrapping it up here with the Turbo Busa and the Tuono. I think mixed results today. I am shocked at how technology has allowed bikes to be a lot faster than riders would normally make them. Don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, I agree. I learned a lot today, I feel like, in the real world application of the power.
Yeah, I think the Turbo Busa here obviously has a massive advantage in terms of its power to weight ratio, but it is so unruly and so unusable that the Tuono, up until kind of real world crazy speeds, 120, 130 miles an hour, it's going to get away from it, you know, because you can just whack the throttle open and I have to modulate and catch up and be in the right gear and get my boost going and all that. At one pull we did, I think I was in 4th instead of 3rd, and then you just walked away.
Yep.
And then until I get to 190 miles an hour, then eventually I'll blow by you, but who's doing 190 miles an hour on the road, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and on this bike, I can go in 2nd gear and go full open, and the traction control will handle everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, even on this, a 2nd gear pull where traction gets away from you, your pull's over. Like,
Yeah.
You need to stop at that point. You got to come off. With this, just keep it there. It figures everything out and sends you down the road as fast as it possibly can.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked at how well the Tuono did. I think that for most people, if you are a spec sheet warrior out there and you're looking at the best, fastest thing ever, the real world's different, guys. Gearing comes into play, torque comes into play, like Josh was saying, traction comes into play. I mean, from a dig, if we were to do it, 1st gear is literally unusable on this thing. 2nd gear is borderline unusable. It's 3rd gear and beyond where you really start to get into it and be able to use it. So I think you'd be long gone by then, honestly.
Yeah. At that point, you'd be chasing me down from 100, 200 feet.
Yeah.
Because this thing can launch so hard.
Yeah.
Right.
I think power to weight ratio and overall top power, not really the be all end all, you know?
Nope, it's cool.
It's very cool.
Crazy to tell people the number of horses go into the rear wheel on that tire, but we tried for a good while to find a place where we can use it.
Yeah, unless you have a landing strip, it's pretty tough to be able to actually wring something like this out. I know some of you live out there in Houston and Florida and you have infinite straight roads, but here in Austin, Texas, it is pretty windy. You don't really get that many straightaways where you can just blast it and get to 150 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I was struck by too is, you know, this bike's seat of the pants is amazing, right? Like you get that turbo torque, it feels incredible. I mean, that's the same thing, really. You get like the insane, I feel like your brain stops perceiving torque after a certain number. You're just like, wow, it's fast.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
You've got all the power you want. When you turn it, it immediately goes, however much you turn it. Like, how do you get past that level?
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think that an equivalent Fireblade or something like that, because we ran the numbers, we showed that power to weight ratio wise, the Fireblade is about 8% down on this motorcycle. If you just shed some weight on the Fireblade and you have all those electronics, I don't really think this bike's going to keep up at that point, honestly. You'd need a 400 horsepower Turbo Busa, you know?
Yep. And you'd have to be so good, too.
Yeah, you got to
never mess up, to never miss shifts, to always be in the right gear.
You got to be good.
To have it running.
Yeah,
to make it start in the morning.
Leaking oil, make sure it starts up, make sure it's not losing boost pressure, all the good stuff. So as silly as this bike is and as much of a meme as it is, and I do love it very much, I don't really think it's that usable really in the real world. This is probably about as fast, if not faster, in most applications. It's also cheaper, nicer to ride, and it can actually corner too. So it's kind of like you're not really losing anything, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But it's not a Hayabusa.
Yeah, it ain't no Busa,
It'll never be a Hayabusa.
Yeah, it's not a Hayabusa, but I think it's better for that, you know?
Yep.
So guys, that's going to wrap up the video. A bit of some mixed results today. Let us know down in the comments how much you think we suck at riding and how unbrave we are for not doing 200 miles per hour on a public road. And don't at me. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yami Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yami Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yami Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yami Noob.